Do you ever feel torn between your dreams and ambition and your responsibilities to your family? I get it. It happens as an entrepreneur and as someone who is very, very ambitious. I think I've spent most of my adult life battling that. There's so much time that goes into building something. And the irony of it all is that you're building it for usually the people who are missing you the most and counting on you the most. So it's hard to explain to them that you either have to give them your attention and I don't get to provide for you, or I focus so much on this thing, but I miss out on spending time and precious time with you. It is such a balancing act. And it's something that comes up often, this sacrificing family for success. There's a way to combat this. You'll never get it perfect, but there's a way to combat it. And I've kind of figured out a way. And again, I'm not perfect at this by any stretch of the imagination, but I know that it's a problem. I know, and I'm seeing you, and I want to help. One thing you can do, and you may laugh at some of these because you may say, oh, this is impossible in my family, but maybe it'll help someone. One thing you can do is bring your spouse or your family members into the equation, into the game plan, so that it's not just you siloed working on this for them, and it's more the family business. So this is one thing that unlocked a lot for me. It took into my 40s to really figure this out, and I'm 44 now. So it was only in the last few years that I started calling my businesses the family business. What I'm working on is the family business. And I, in fact, started looping in my family to work with me. I have my brother and my sister-in-law documenting me on the road sometimes and doing amazing editing work and all kinds of cool stuff. I have my mom out there. She's appearing at places with me. She's doing talks and bringing her glass eyewear line out, and we're working together. My wife has helped me with editing, with sound, with all kinds of things, music, making things for me. And that has really helped. Making your family or the person who is feeling isolated from you part of what you're doing. Doesn't mean they have to work for you doesn't mean they have to work for you full time. It just means they work with you on something. They get to have some ownership in what you're doing. Another thing you can do is have an old-fashioned family meeting that you see on the sitcoms. Have a family meeting and let them know how you're feeling. Let them know what this is for and that it's not something that's frivolous and fun over here on the side that you're doing. Hopefully it is fun for you, by the way, but let them know that it's not all fun and games. Let them know that you have a vision and you have a plan and you want them to help you bring that to life. They don't have to do a lot of work, but if they can support you and if they can understand you, then they will be doing so much towards the dignity and the energy of what you're doing. Another thing you can do is say to them, there's a time period that I'm going to work on this. My small business, my coaching, this idea that I have, this project, this startup. I'm going to work on it for X amount of time. And in that time, I may have a lot of lows. I may have a lot of things that look like failure, but this is part of the process. And after that time, we will reassess and see if we should keep going. I would call it 12 months. If you can say to your partner, to your family, can you say, I would like to have 12 months to follow my dreams and my ambition in this project. And I believe in it. And this is why I believe in it. And it may not make sense to you right now, but I bet your dreams and your ambitions may be a little foggy to me too. So I would like to do this, and I'm going to spend 10 hours a week doing it, or 20 hours, or maybe even full time. And at the end of this 12 months or whatever time period you give, if it has not worked out in a way where we do not see momentum, we do not see that it could turn into something. Doesn't mean we have to be millionaires by the end of the 12 months, but if it's not getting traction and we agree, then I will go back to that corporate lifestyle, or I will go back to full-time focus there, and I will come back in a few years and try something different. That helps your family and your loved one feel like they are getting a say and they're part of it. Now, your life is your life, and it's my opinion that you should be able to live it the way you want to. Many songs have been written about this. I think you should be able to live the life that you want to live. But if it is tugging at you, um, then this might be a great way to combat that. And you can set some clear terms for these 12 months. You can say, look, you're going to see me struggle. You're going to see me need some time to myself. You're going to see me at fewer events or having less time. But know that this is a temporary situation. Now, let's say it does do well. And let's say at the end of the 12 months, it is going to go well. Well, that means that my promise to you is that at the end of the 12 months, I will put in place scalable operations, meaning I will delegate to someone because there's traction. I will not work as much. I will scale in order to scale back for myself. That is the upside and what happens if there's a positive outcome. So either way, the person knows or the group knows, hey, this is going to be okay, and this is actually for the greater good. Now, during this time, you're going to have to protect your energy either way. You have now received permission and a blessing. I think it's a better way of saying you've got a blessing from your family to do this, but you still need to protect your own time. So still, I say at the very least, 1 day per week needs to be doing nothing but things that bring you joy. I mean, tell me how I can binge 10 hours of Netflix or something, of YouTube on a weekend, if you let me. Now, I may say my Saturdays are for me and my family, and I may say my Sundays, I get to prep for the week. But if you have at least that 1 day, it means the world. I also think that for yourself and for your family, reframing failure, as we talked about earlier, into I'm not failing when you see something not work. I'm learning and I'm growing from that. Because sometimes if you're the only person in your family who's an entrepreneur, or let's say that you are the loved one of an entrepreneur, let me tell you, the entrepreneur sees things differently. The entrepreneur sees failure as fuel, because there really is no failure if you're learning, and there really is no failure if you can see patterns and you can see little clues that help you get better and better. Some of the most successful entrepreneurs, some of the most successful entertainers that you know have quote unquote failed multiple times in the past, or not reached the heights they wanted to multiple times in the past, only to take what happened and learn from it and grow from it and have an even better opportunity on the other side of that. So sometimes it's just being in the game that gets you the success, because you're in the right place at the right time. If you don't even try, if you don't even get to participate in this game of entrepreneurship, you may not have those faith kismet moments, those moments of like luck that are just placed here and there You, no matter how you think of that, that is coming from somewhere. Is it coming from the universe? Is it coming from some sort of spirituality? Is it coming from just coincidence? No matter how you frame it, those things happen. And they happen when you least expect it. And if you were not in the game, you do not get to experience that. So I think the takeaway I can give you is to be good to yourself, to give yourself a break, to forgive yourself for anything that's happened in the past that has kept you from your family. Forgive yourself and look to your loved ones to give you grace and forgiveness. Bring them into it. Bring them into it. And if they can't find their way to allowing that or to being okay and on board with that, you'll then have to make a decision of whose life you're living. Are you living your life or are you living someone else's? And it may be that if there's a lot of friction, a lot of pushback, a lot of heartache, it may be that the timing is off. And that is okay because you can take everything that you've learned thus far, you can document it, and you can push pause, and you can work to heal the other underlying things that are going on, and then come back and come back fresh and come back stronger. It's all going to be okay. I can tell you that it's going to be okay, and no one is taking score. You're running your own race, just not alone.